Hi, Reject Nation. It's Greg Alba here.
And I'm John Humphrey.
We're gonna watch today. I'm always thrown off when you say your last name.
I know.
I think I'm more thrown off when you only say your first name. We're gonna watch.
So you're always thrown off when I introduce myself.
The official trailer. They had a teaser trailer that came out a few months ago, which looked pretty cool to me.
Back when this still belonged to the WB.
Yeah, and it's called Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle.
Welcome to the jungle.
This trailer dropped 10 p.m. our time last night, and then woke up and it was like, what the hell? And we researched it.
Yeah.
Oh,
A
what?
whole bunch of stuff happened that I had no
idea that, when the Warner Brothers sold it to Netflix, and now Netflix is going to release this.
I thought we would have heard about this.
It's pretty crazy, especially because Warner Brothers put out a whole a trailer and everything for it. So
this can't have been a cheap movie.
No, gosh. So it's pretty surprising. Anyway, before we hop into this, I wanted to say muchas gracias to everyone who has been doing their job and following us on the Stardust app. That's an app that has 30-second reactions, that has so many YouTubers on there for films, TV shows, and trailers. People say reactions, but they're also reviews. We do micro sketches over there. It's a whole lot of fun, and you should follow us today. You see this thing? Use that URL, not John Bailey's, ours.
Follow us first, then follow John Bailey.
I've never seen a man cut before. It's so smooth.
Great music.
Yeah.
Kira, why am I different?
You are special, little brother. You've got hands, so let's use them. Shut!
Oh.
I shouldn't let them pick on me like that. Wolves are supposed to be with other wolves.
It's not a wolf.
Wow.
Where you look at the village. Mowgli, you are one of them.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
Just for long. You will always be my son, Mowgli. Nothing can ever change that.
Oh, I know that voice.
Priyanka.
Man is taking more of it. And the boy may just be our only hope of survival. We're afraid of what man might do to us. The pack needs you.
So intense.
Yeah, seriously.
How you've grown.
I am not a man, but neither am I a wolf. Which of you will follow me?
The whole jungle has been watching you.
I won't fail.
I don't think a subtitle was there before. And in select theaters December 7th.
Oh, yeah. That's
Limited
the other-
release, okay.
The other big deal is Netflix is caving and putting their stuff in the theater now. Instead of, the way these things really ought to be seen, which is on your, television or phone.
I guess this actually, yeah. I guess this makes the most sense to move it because from my perspective, like my own personal, I imagine yours too, we would be inclined to go check this out in the theaters because this looks different enough. But then I'm also thinking in the perspective of general audiences, who maybe not are film enthusiast or whatever still could see something like this, that even though it feels tonally different, there's still so many elements that are the same. I mean, granted, like I don't recall I only saw that Jungle Book live action one from Disney one time. I don't recall any of these elements with the village people
that
being
seems
included
to be
in here.
much more prominent in this version.
It's such a important part, and I've always wanted the dark ending of Mowgli of the Jungle Book from what I learned about years ago. You know,
Basically, like takes the animals back,
takes
and
the animals and
destroys
destroys the village,
Yeah.
or like kills all the people. And I've always wanted that ending. It doesn't look like it's gonna go down that path, but I also like how in this journey, this tale, he's conflicted and caught between which world he belongs to. Should he stay with these people and the man, or should he stay with the animals?
Yeah,
you know,
his family, who he's actually grown up with.
yeah, like you got both of those elements in there, and it seems to be a real conflict. It's like part of the animal kingdom, a big part of the animal kingdom accepts him, but then of course, you got people like Khan, played by Khan. Khan is like anyone. But then the village people, I remember in the teaser trailer, they had that one image where he's like put in the jail.
In like a cage,
yeah.
See, this was a much more lively human world glimpse. And I mean...
It still feels intense.
It does, and I also appreciated just on the contrast side, like Andy Serkis seems like a filmmaker with a pretty thoughtful eye, so I like the glimpses we got into the human world where it's, celebratory and it's kind of into their culture and whatnot, and I appreciate those elements, and I feel like that's something that could set this apart, because, it's like I imagine an average audience goer might look at this and go, oh yeah, the live action animals and stuff, I just did this like months ago.
Just looks a little sadder.
They are in an odd position, but I do like that this trailer at least went out of its way to show at least a few things that the other movie didn't give us quite.
The visual effects here, it's weird. Some of the wider shots don't look as good. That's when it looks fake, but the close-ups, which is usually kind of in reverse sometimes, I noticed. The wider shots look good, and then the close-ups are like, oh, it doesn't look so great.
Yeah.
But here, there were shots that sometimes don't look like good CGI, and then there are other moments where you're like, that looks really good,
Maybe he just figured, like, if we're gonna put the camera all up in this bear or leopard or whatever, we gotta make those shots look extra good. I'm the mocap guy. It's gotta be good.
The major difference, it's like, sure, it's kind of got a darker tint to it. It still feels like a colorful film, not as like bright and shiny and musically as the Disney one. This does feel like the gritty version of the Jungle Book. A lot of people forget there was a live action Jungle Book before the Disney one that came out. And I think Disney actually produced the one that I'm talking about, the one with Jason Scott Lee.
I always forget that this exists.
Yeah, with Jason Scott Lee, he's not a boy, he's a man. But it's the Jungle Book story.
Manly.
Yeah. No one ever brings that one up.
Yeah, man. When are we gonna get like a double feature, like the Jason Scott Lee one right before the Jon Favreau one, right before the Andy Serkis one? Just do a triple feature of Jungle Books.
I don't remember that one all too well. I saw when I was younger. It was I remember there were some scenes that were a little more like he kills the snake with a knife and stuff, battles it underwater. I don't know if you guys were planning on going to check that out and I ruined it for you. And the animals don't talk in that movie.
Oh no, I bet they don't.
So this feels kind of like a hybrid of Disney's live action that came out a couple years ago and that one, because that was it's still like goofy but more mature. And then but here now you got like, oh, we're really honing in on them.
Yeah.
It's the most realistic version of this we could do with talking animals,
Talking animals and a badass feral child.
Yeah, I feel like what everyone probably wants you to talk about are like the animals and everything, but the human story really does look very interesting to me. It's a completely different element because man is destroying the jungle, man kills the animals. Like they had that one shot with that guy with the rifle about to shoot down the elephant, who I'm assuming he kills, which of course is going to create a very huge conflict for Mowgli. Like I imagine he's going to go with these humans, start bonding with them because he looks like them. This is probably where he belongs. Then he's going to see how they treat the jungle and how they treat the animals, and it's going to be a really intense situation.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I feel like there's a lot to explore here that would be so different than the Disney one.
Yeah, because in the Disney one, at least the recent one, the human element is a part of it, but it seems like this is going to make it a much larger part of it. And yeah, I can definitely see it being such that Mowgli will eventually get very torn. And I don't know if it would end up where the actual story ends up. I feel like that may still be a bit dark for the wide release audience, but even still, I can imagine that there will be some kind of difficult compromise between Mowgli's human side and his animal side. And that's pretty fascinating about this. Having that human element be so big in here and having it seem like it will lead to such a conflict does give this an edge, separating it from the Jon Favreau one at least. I was going to say, is Andy Serkis blue?
I think so, yeah. Okay. I mean, that's another thing.
Seemed
All the voices are like British, you know, or Australian or something.
It's all the Lord of the Rings.
It's all Lord of the Rings characters, yeah.
Or Hobbit people, yeah.
Blue's like the really lovable bare necessities bear. Yeah. But then when he's like laughing, you're like, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
because
he could still maul you if he wanted to. If Blue had a bad day and went off on a bender, he could rip your face off and eat all your picnic food, you know?
Weirdly, I want to see this now more than ever.
Yeah, especially given all these weird circumstances, because then this makes you wonder, like, why did WB make this decision? Did they just not have faith in the movie and Disney made their own, or were they just like, wow, this is way too close to what Disney had?
Yeah.
Or what, you know?
All right, guys. Well, that was a whole lot of fun. I'm excited to check this movie out. Before we wrap this up, I wanted to give a Patron of the Day shout out to a man named Luke Anderson. Luke Anderson and I have been talking quite a bit on Patreon lately. This guy's all the way from Spokane, Washington. He's been watching our channel for like almost 5 years now, so thank you so much for that. And, you know, bonding with this guy was really cool because him and I share a similar passion for film, especially in where it stemmed from. We both, he was telling me that he really inherited it from his dad. He was like, his first movie he remember seeing in the theaters, he was like 3 and watched Free Willy. Mine was Jurassic Park. We both watched animal-based movies. This guy actually, he's doing really well in life. He's he's 22. He's a private contractor for FedEx and has like 20-something employees under his belt.
You, man.
Also getting a touch into his mindset. Like he's not like, he looks for people who he can give opportunities to. He looks for people, like he really likes to think outside the box. And
because you guys deliver packages.
We also bond over the fact that we both meditate. I'm really glad that after 5 years we finally get to know each other, Luke. Appreciate you being on our Patreon page. So you just get nothing but a sincere shout out.
What kind of high fives do people give when they're like bonding over meditation? Because like it's such a mellow activity, it seems weird to just be like, yeah, you know, like
slap each other on the bottom. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Are you gonna check out Mowgli? Welcome to the jungle.
yeah, where Mowgli gets dropped in and then he turns into Dwayne Johnson, and then Dwayne Johnson saves the jungle. It's perfect.
You guys can subscribe to The Real Rejects, click that notification bell, and check us out on the Stardust app, people. Free to download, free to use. Do it now.
Do it to it.